An important life update. This is a milestone for me, guys. I have joined a book club. I've already thanked Gerald via Discord for this, but I'll just say this again. Gerald, me, thank you. Thank you for organizing this and for letting us be a part of it. But I want to be honest, I want to be straightforward, so I will preface this reading vlog with a confession, okay? Because the first ever book selected for the first official month of Gerald's book club, which is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I've already read this book several years ago. This book is really impressive and I enjoy this so much. I still think about it from time to time, and this really established Celeste Ng as really one of the authors to look out for me. I picked this up because it was getting the hype that it so rightfully deserved when it came out. And I'm glad that the Filipino booktube community is paying attention to it right now. Anyway, I've decided, since it's been quite a while since I've read this book, and since this year, a habit that I've religiously followed is to tab everything that I read. I thought I will go ahead and tab this book this time around. I'm also very, very excited to find out everyone's insights about this plot, the characters for sure. So, 100 pages down, 4 chapters in. I'm about to start chapter 5 of Everything I Never Told You, and this remains to be as good, as excellent as I remembered. You know what's drifting in and out of my memory as I read the first couple of chapters, the first several pages? I remembered how one of the strongest reasons why I picked up this book was the title, Everything I Never Told You. We're already past stereotyping people, of course, but back then, I had this prejudice, very immature, where I thought Asian personalities or Asian characters were not really fond of communicating or verbalizing our feelings, especially to our families. Right now, of course, I understand that that personality character trait is not really something limited or something that we should pigeonhole on racial limits. Everyone, in a way, somehow struggles with communicating or verbalizing their feelings. It's just back then, Everything I Never Told You sounded very appealing to me because that speaks a lot about how we struggle talking to our family. Also, yet another wisdom or good takeaway that I'm acquiring with the act of rereading something I've read years ago is something about how miscommunication is perceived. Because in the romance genre, we hate the trope so much. Most readers I know right now, myself included, don't really like the trope, miscommunication trope. And you know what Everything I Never Told You is telling me? Miscommunication is not really something limited to just romance. What if it's also really something that can be applied on all genre? That above all things, we really, really find it difficult to articulate our feelings and our thoughts to people that matter to us, right? Several years ago is a lot more different compared to today. It's not decades ago, but still, we live in such an era in the social media perspective because right now there's a lot of avenues to express our opinions, our thoughts, our feelings. So we don't really have to cage our audience into people that we know or families, because we can talk to people that we are not really connected with. There are so many apps where you can express yourself. I mean, I'm on a channel without telling my family. And I'm talking about books here. I don't have to feel sad about not being able to talk to them about books, about reading, about being a reader. I can find people that could listen to me here. And I find that it doesn't really matter if I've got a lot. Just the mere fact that I can talk and post it in a space where I know I really won't be judged is what matters. Somehow it's genius how Lydia is what really started the story. But she's really the one that we know the least about at this point, 4 chapters in. She's not really the main focus. The story began with her, but we know the least about her. My favorite thing so far is the husband and wife dynamic of Marilyn and James. I like it that they have very polarizing desires, goals, visions, and perspectives, and somehow that's what led them to each other when they were younger. One wanted to blend in, and one wanted to stand out. And somehow they met each other and started a life. So I get more and more excited. I'm looking forward to what others' thoughts are about this book. I'm sure I would also learn a lot from them. So excited. This far along, there's more to go. I'll read some more and I'll talk to you about it later. Finally finished Everything I Never Told You for the second time, and what can I say? A 5-star several years ago, still a heartbreakingly, gut-wrenchingly 5 stars all the way till now. Yet another wisdom unlocked. One of the joys of rereading a book after a significant period of time is not just limited to finding out and learning how much you've grown as a reader and looking at things differently on a whole new perspective, or things you may have missed the first time, but along with that, you will also encounter things that still so resonate so profoundly, so hardly in you, like it's the first time. It still is. It's very special to encounter parts of it that still speaks to you in a certain language. It still hurts just as accurately, still devastates me so terribly, and the pain is still razor sharp. A tiny bit of spoiler, the one part that I really took the time to comment on Discord was this part in chapter 6, where Nate said, "Daddy, can you believe people can go practically to the moon and still come back?" And James slapped him so hard, Nate's feet rattled. "Shut up about that nonsense. How can you think about things like that when..." Because I remember then that one of the parts that I really remember vividly from finishing Everything I Never Told You, therefore at the part I'm reminded of how much I know the ending, is how it wrapped up in Nate's perspective. Am I being biased on the sheer fact that he's a firstborn, and therefore as a firstborn I identify closer to him? Perhaps. But I guess more than anything, it's because I am speculating that Nate may be the one in the family who regrets the hardest don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not saying that grief is supposed to be a contest that will rank who feels this emotion the hardest. No, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that Nate might feel it in a different kind of way from the rest of the family because number one, he's the one Lydia is closest to, right? Number two, he's the one that Lydia relies on the most, and number three, he's the one that Lydia feels the saddest about leaving, right? When he was about to depart and leave home for college, Lydia was so aching. So with all of that, I'm just assuming, okay? I'm not certain if this is something that resonates with other firstborns the way this is something that resonates with me. We consider that privilege a blessing and also sort of a responsibility. Sibling dynamics in this book is just spectacular, and it's equal parts wonderful and also heartbreaking how each of the three kids embody and represent several different things. Lydia being the heart and center of the plot, in a way kind of represents things that the parents are projecting themselves to. Like how Lydia, as a girl, as a female, as a future woman, her mother is envisioning her as someone who can succeed on her behalf, right? And because she gave them this false pretense that she's got friends in school, she's, well liked, her father also had this assumption that she might have succeeded in fitting in and in belonging to social circles. So Lydia, in a way, kind of carried that burden of accepting those projected frustrated dreams that they have. Nate, on the other hand, is everything reversed of who they are, and somehow he still got everything that they wanted. He's a male, therefore their mother cannot really project her aspirations to him, but he got accepted in a good college, and he succeeded in that science subject that he's devoted to or passionate about without trying. And he does not really care much about social circles or popularity, so even if he doesn't really have a billion friends as what their father is hoping to be, he doesn't care about that, and he still liked Jack, right? So he got everything that they wanted to have. And Hannah, let's not forget about Hannah. Let's not think of her as an afterthought, right? I think she plays a very critical role because while she's very much on the outside of things, very much just an observer of what's going on, I think Hannah embodies hope for how things can change, hopefully, how things can evolve, how there's still room for something to be done, even though there are already things that they can never do anything about. Hannah somehow stands for the future and what it holds. From what I'm reading so far in the Discord, this is probably not everyone's cup of tea, but I can't do anything about it. This remains to be an unforgettable, remarkable story. Then, all the way till now, I still feel the same way about it, so I'm so glad for the chance to reread and tap this book. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the weather goes well. It's been raining so much.